Hello there. My name is Razzo and I want to welcome you to my channel. I'm the kind of guy that loves making characters almost as much as I enjoy playing D&D. In this video series, I plan to share some of my favorite builds that I have stored away. I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. In today's video, I'm going to detail a character that's very special to me. I've always liked the idea of arcane archers, however, I'm not a big fan of the fighter version wizards published in Xanathars. It can only do a few cool things, and it's extremely limited on how many times it can do them. I decided to fix this and make a real arcane archer by tossing my favorite class at it. Well, that's right, we're making a bard. This build has strong damage, decent support, skills for days, and most importantly, it's super fun to play. Today I present to you my Eldritch Bardcher. Alright, I've got D&D Beyond opened up and I'm ready to get to work. We're going to start by picking our race. You could go with variant human, but I'm going to go with custom lineage. Size, we want to pick medium because we're using longbows. Small characters have disadvantage on heavy weapons, and a longbow is a heavy weapon. For our starting feat, we're going to pick Fey Touched. That's going to let us boost up our charisma by 1 point. It's also going to let us cast Misty Step in one of their spell once per day. And then if we want to use it again, we can use a spell slot. So that's extra spells added to our spell list that we wouldn't normally have. So what am I going to pick? I'm going to pick Bless. That lets us add a d4 to our attack rolls and saving throws, as well as 2 other people in our group at level 1. It's a great spell for us to be concentrating on, and bards and warlocks don't normally have access to this spell. Variable trait, I'm going to pick Dark Vision. I like being able to see in the dark without having to use a light source. Lets me sneak around. This character can be built to be pretty sneaky if you want it to. For our background, we are going to pick Dimmer Operative. It's not required, but one neat thing about Dimmer Operative is that it lets you pick up spells and add them to your spell list no matter what class you are. And I like to use one of these spells later. Looking at you, Pass Without Trace. Hang on, I'll get to you in a moment, I promise. For our ability scores, we are going to use the point buy method. I'll level with you guys. When I play a character, I like to make them more well-rounded. I don't usually min-max, so I don't usually take more than 1/8, which is going to be our strength in this build. Then we're going to take a 14 dexterity because eventually I want to put us in medium armor, so we want to have that +2 dex to make full use of that. Constitution, we're going to have a 14. That's going to let us concentrate on our spells as well as get a little bit more health. Intelligence, we're going to put a 10. I like to be a skill monkey. With Bard, we're going to get Jack of all trades later on. So having a 0 instead of a -1, in my opinion, well worth it. Same thing with Wisdom there. We're going to have skills, one of those being Perception later on. And, I also don't like taking a negative to Wisdom saving throws. That's kind of scary. Which lets us put a 15 in our Charisma. We get a +2 from being custom lineage. Add in that feast we got a level 1. We are now at an 18 charisma. Woo! Watch out. For our first class, we are not going to go with Bard. We are going to start with Warlock. For our starting proficiencies, I like to go with Arcana. I also like to go with Deception. That's going to play into one of our skills later on that we get. Our other skills that we're going to get from our background gives us stealth for free. I also like to pick up perception. It's the most rolled skill in my games, at least. Disguise kit is cool. If you want to switch it out for something else, I usually go with thieves tools, but really, tool proficiencies can be whatever you want them to be. Have fun with it. Level 1, we also get to pick our otherworldly patron. We're going to go with Hexblade. This expands our spell list. It also gives us Hexblade Curse, which as a bonus action we can curse a target for 1 minute. Whenever we do damage rolls, we can add our proficiency bonus to the damage. We can also crit on a 19 or a 20, and when this cursed target dies, we gain a little bit of health back. You can use this once per short or long rest. We're also gonna get Hex Warrior, which gives us proficiency in medium armor, shields, and martial weapons. Whenever we finish a long rest, we can touch one weapon that we're proficient with that lacks the two-handed property. So we still can't use our bows yet, but we're making progress. Whenever we attack with this weapon, we can use our charisma instead of strength and dexterity for the attack and damage rolls. This lasts until we finish a long rest. Later on, when we gain our Pact of the Blade feature, this extends to every pact weapon we conjure with this feature no matter the weapon's type. That's very important for later. Moving on, we've got to pick some spells, but first, I like to make sure that we get additional spells to our list. May as well click that while we're at it. So we are going to start with, you guessed it, Eldritch Blast. And you can pick whatever cantrip you want. I usually go with Mage Hand. Prestidigitation's also a good one. Right now, really just pick your favorite. As far as first level spells, we're mostly going to be focusing on Bless. But if you want to pick up Hex, you can. They are both concentration, so you have to pick one or the other. I personally prefer Bless over Hex because being able to hit is very nice. It also helps your other characters hit, as well as helping with saving throws. It's the full package, whereas Hex is greedy, helps you get a little bit of extra damage in there, so pick which one you like better. We also have access to the shield spell because of Hexblade, and you really should pick it. It's one of the best spells in the game. As far as everything else, pick what you want, but we're mostly going to focus on Bless and Shield. At level 1, we play just like any other level 1 Warlock. Stand in the back, use Eldritch Blast, try not to die, get to level 2. Level 2, we unlock some fun stuff, our Eldritch Invocations. We're still going to be using our Eldritch Blast, so we are going to pick Agonizing Blast to add Charisma modifier to damage, lets us hit a little bit harder. And you can pick whatever you want for this second one. I usually go with Fiendish Vigor. It lets you cast False Life on yourself at level 1 at will, so you can pretty much cast it in between every single fight. Make sure that you go in a fight with a little bit of extra temp HP, help you get to level 3. Level 3, this is when our character starts to come online. We can start using bows because we are going to pick up Pact of the Blade. Let's us use our action to create a pact weapon, our empty hand. You can choose the form of this as a melee weapon, but more on that later. We're proficient while we wield it, and it counts as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. We can transform one magic weapon into our pact weapon by performing a special ritual. So this will let us take one magic weapon and turn it into our Pact of the Blade weapon, which also lets us use it as our Hexblade weapon, so therefore we can use Charisma to attack and damage. Now, if we don't have a magic weapon yet, don't worry, there's a way to fix that. We're going to go back up to our invocations. We're level 3 now, so we can take Agonizing Blast, and we can change it into Improved Pact Weapon. This lets us choose shortbow, longbow, light crossbow, or heavy crossbow to be our pact weapon, even if we don't have a magic weapon. So we're now able to use bows. Hooray. Now, whenever I do pick up a magical longbow, I like to change this improved pact weapon to Eldritch Mind. This is going to help us keep our concentration up because it's going to give us advantage on saving throws whenever we try and maintain concentration. Speaking of spells, we are now able to cast second level spells. So we are going to pick up Person. We already have Misty Step. Remember how I said we like Pass Without Trace? If you don't pick up Dimmer Operative, you can pick Invisibility. I tend to go with Pass Without Trace because it also helps my allies sneak around a little bit. Pick your favorite of the two. I like to pick up Mirror Image, but that's totally not required. Pick your favorite in that one. We can also go back to our cantrips and we can get rid of Eldritch Blast. We're going to be attacking at range with our bow, but what we can do is we can pick up either Green Flame Blade or Booming Blade. That way, if we do get caught in melee, we don't have to attack with disadvantage. We can just, take out our Hex Warrior weapon and attack with a dagger, short sword, long sword, using our charisma to attack and damage. Moving on to level 4, we are going to pick up a feat, and anybody who has made a ranged build before knows that you need to put in Sharpshooter at some point. So we're going to go ahead and do that here. It's going to let us attack at long range, which longbow is forever across the map. I doubt you'll be on a map that big where you'll be beyond that range. We also ignore half cover and 3/4 cover. And the main reason we're taking this is because it lets us take a -5 penalty to our attack roll to add +10 damage on our damage rolls. That's why we want to keep Bless up. It helps negate this -5 penalty on the attack roll, in addition to all the other fun stuff it gives us. Onward to level 5. This is a good level for us as well as any martial class. We are going to get an invocation which lets us pick up Thirsting Blade. This gives us the ability to attack twice with our packed weapon when we use the attack action on our turn. Note that it has to be our packed weapon. It's not just any weapon. We can also go ahead and get rid of Fiendish Vigor, and we're going to take Eldritch Smite. This lets us take our spell slots and use them whenever we hit to add extra force damage to our attack rolls. You can use this once per turn. The way I like to do it is I like to either use it when I know that I'm fighting a big guy that needs to go down, or if I land one of those critical hits. Remember, if we have Hexblade up, or Curse up, we can crit on a 19 or a 20. So this lets us add not just 1d8, but 2d8 anytime we crit. We also get 3rd level spells at 5th level Warlock. I like to add our Counter Spell and Thunderstep. Now the reason I like to add Thunderstep, even though we have Misty Step, which is a bonus action, is in case we need to move somebody else with us. Adds a little bit of group utility, which I'm always a sucker for in my builds. Level 6, we are going to multi-class, and there's where we get our Bard. We're going to pick up any musical instrument, and we're also going to take up Persuasion. Makes us a really good face character in addition to our deception we have from earlier. This level also gives us Bardic Inspiration, which for now we're going to use to buff ourselves and our allies. We get these back on a long rest. Don't go too ham wild and use them all in one spot. Right now we're at 4 uses per long rest. For our 1st level Bard spells, I like to pick up Fairy Fire, something else to concentrate on besides Bless. This lets everybody have advantage on their attack rolls, which is nice. Instead of just a d4, gives everybody advantage if the enemies fail their saving throw. So kind of take your pick between Bless and Fairy Fire. It's good to have both. I take Healing Word because it's a nice way to pop somebody up if they fall down. This is a bonus action. We try not to use too many action spells, so I like to pick up bonus action and reaction spells, which is going to lead us right into Silvery Barbs. Anytime somebody rolls a d20, we can force them to roll it again and use the lower roll, and one of our allies within range can have advantage on their next attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. As far as our other spell, you can kind of pick whatever you want. If you don't have somebody that can cast Identify, that's usually my go-to. Now at second level, we get Magical Inspiration. So if a creature has Bardic Inspiration, die for me, and cast a spell that restores hit points or deals damage, the creature can roll that die and choose a target affected by the spell. Add the number rolled as a bonus to hit point damage or damage dealt. We also get Jack of all trades, so starting at second level, we add half our proficiency bonus rounded down to any ability check you make that doesn't already include your proficiency bonus. This makes us a skill monkey. Also note that this does include our initiative roll. We also pick up Song of Rest, which during a short rest, if we do our bardic stuff, we can let people add 1d6 or more at later levels whenever they regain hit die. Very nice. For our next level of Bard, we get to pick up a college, which we are going to pick College of Whispers. It's going to give us Psychic Blades. So whenever we hit an enemy with a weapon attack, you can expend one use of our Bardic Inspiration to deal 2d6 psychic damage. We can only do it once per round on our turn. And this damage is going to go up as we get more levels in Bard. We also get Words of Terror, which doesn't come up very often, but could be fun in certain situations. At third level, you learn to infuse innocent seeming words with an insidious magic that can inspire terror. If you speak to a humanoid alone for at least 1 minute, you can attempt to seed paranoia in its mind. At the end of the conversation, the target must succeed a wisdom saving throw against your spell DC or be frightened of you or another creature of your choice. The target is frightened this way for 1 hour until it is attacked or damaged, or until it witnesses its allies being attacked or damaged. If the target succeeds on its saving throw, the target has no hint that you tried to frighten it. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long or a short rest. We also get Expertise. I like to pick up Perception and Stealth, but really this is just pick your favorites at this point. We also get second level Bard spells. Two that I like to pick up are Heat Metal, because it lets us, after we use our first action in a combat, we can use our bonus action every turn after that to add some bonus action damage, which is really nice. The other one I might pick up is either See Invisibility or Silence. You know, we'll take one this level and one next level, so take your pick. At our next level of Bard, we're going to go ahead and add that other spell we were talking about. So, there we go. Then we also have a feat to pick up, or in our case, I'm going to go to Charisma. That's going to cap us out at 20. So we get a +5 to attack rolls, +5 to damage. It's also going to help out our DC on our spells. Very nice, solid at this point. Moving on to 5th level Bard. Our Bardic Inspiration. Our Psychic Blades are all going to increase by a die. We also get Font of Inspiration, so whenever we take a short rest, we get all of our Bardic Inspiration dice back. One of the most important levels for this build, because we can do what we've been doing all along much more frequently. We also get some more spells. For third level, I like to add Dispel Magic You can also do slow. Whichever one you don't pick this level, we're going to add next level. Fact. Let's go ahead and level up to 6. Add that. And then look at our class features. Alright, we get Counter Charm. At 6th level, you gain the ability to use musical notes or words of power to disrupt mind-influencing effects. As an action, you can start a performance that lasts until the end of your next turn. During that time, you and any friendly creature within 30 feet of you have advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed. A creature must be able to hear you to gain this benefit. The performance ends early if you are incapacitated or silenced, or if you voluntarily end it, no action required. Very situational, but could be pretty cool. Another situational thing we get is Mantle of Whispers. At 6th level, you gain the ability to adopt a human's persona. That's creepy. When a human dies within 30 feet of you, you can magically capture its shadow using your reaction. You retain this shadow until you use it or finish a long rest. You can use the shadow as an action. When you do so, it vanishes, magically transforming into a disguise that appears on you. You can now look like the dead person, but healthy and alive. This disguise lasts for 1 hour or until you end it as a bonus action. While you're in this disguise, you can gain access to all the information that humanoid would freely share with a casual acquaintance, such as information that includes general details on its background or personal life, but doesn't include secrets. This information is enough that you can pass yourself off as the person by drawing on its memories. Another creature can see through this disguise by succeeding on a wisdom insight check contested by your charisma deception check. You gain a +5 bonus on your check. Once you capture a shadow with this feature, you can't capture another shadow with it until you finish a long or a short rest. Moving right along, we're going to go ahead and actually take our next 2 levels of Bard. Because the next one we just get 1 spell. So we're just going to take both our 7th level and 8th level spells at the same time. My pick for these spells are Greater Invisibility as well as Polymorph. Strong to help us get out of combat, and also strong to help keep one enemy out of the fight. We also get another feat at this level, and we are going to take Fighting Initiate so that we can take the archery fighting style to give us another +2 on our attack rolls. Help us get that sharpshooter more often. At 9th level, we don't pick up a whole lot. Our Song of Rest increases, and we pick up another spell, but it's a doozy of a spell because we are going to pick up Synaptic Static. Almost like Fireball, except that it's a little bit less damage, but it's got some extra bonus to it. After a failed saving throw, a target has muddled thoughts for 1 minute. During that time, it rolls a d6 and subtracts that number from all its attack rolls and ability checks as well as its constitution saving throws to maintain concentration. The target can make an intelligence saving throw at the end of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. Moving right along to our next level. We're going to pick up 2 more expertise. So I pick up Deception and Persuasion. And then we're going to get Magical Secrets. I pick up Swift Quiver because it's more bonus action damage to our character. You transmute your quiver so it produces an endless supply of non-magical ammunition, which seems to leap into your hand when you reach for it. Once on each of your turns, when the spell ends, you can use a bonus action to make 2 attacks with your weapon that uses ammunition for the quiver. So basically, we're making 4 attacks per round when we have this spell up. That's potential for 4 sharpshooter arrows. Some pretty nasty damage right there. Now from this point forward, you're just kind of gonna ride Bard all the way to the end. Your Bardic Inspiration dies are gonna keep going up. You're gonna get a couple more spells, but not a whole lot more. You're gonna get 1 more feat. You can pretty much pick whatever feat you want, but I usually go with Alert because being able to go before your enemies is always nice. For our next level of magical secrets, I'm gonna pick Crown of Stars, some more bonus action damage just like before. And then for our other spells, let's see. I'll pick up Force Cage, and Feeble-Minded. Round out my spells. There's a few more you can pick up along the way, but that's pretty much my big suggestions. And that's going to finish off our character. That's a quick recap. We start off with 5 levels of Warlock, 15 levels of Bard. That way we can use Sharpshooter with our bow, bonus action to heal, buff, debuff, and all assortments of spells. Really solid character, really fun to play. I hope you enjoyed as much as I have. Thanks for checking out my channel. Hope you come by to visit more often. And don't forget to roll the nat 20 on the like and subscribe buttons. If you want to watch my friends and I play some D&D, check out this playlist. See you next time.